Welcome to Aligned and Soulful Leadership. My name is Kavita Melwani, and I empower soulful, multicultural women of color to opulently shine their light without the hustle. I truly believe you can fulfill your soul's desire without losing yourself, your health, or your life in the process. I know that you can ignite your confidence and know your worth, all while walking your divine, unique path. So in this podcast, I will dive deep into topics, challenges, and blocks that women of color experience as they rise up into their aligned life and work. My deep desire is that BIPOC women can lead through their inner wisdom in a way that honors their soul. Are you ready to rise up as the leader you were born to be? Then this podcast is for you. So how are you enjoying this time of year? Have you consciously chosen how to spend your time? Have you chosen how you want to feel and then worked towards behaving in a way that allows you to have the experience that you desire? If you haven't, then this is a reminder that you have the power to have an experience that can create the feeling that you want right now. So if there is still time. So if you still haven't felt what you want to feel, if you haven't felt the calm, the connection, joy, whatever it is that you want to feel during this time of year, I want you to first be clear what that is. So if you're not clear what it is that you want to feel, then that is where you need to start. So once you're clear about that, I'm giving you permission to act in a way that will bring you that feeling. Because when we are looking at external circumstances, we want them to change simply because we want to feel a certain way. And we believe that if we change that external circumstance, then we're going to get the feeling that we want. And it doesn't work that way. So because when we have our feelings determined on external results, then we're always going to be on this big roller coaster, right? Because things external changes. And especially these last couple years, things have been changing so dramatically. And as I've been reflecting, as happens this time of year, and I reflect back on these last almost 2 years of ups and downs, and realizing that even though there's a part of me that would love to go back to the way it was before, the higher part of me, the higher self, knows that I am better off now than I was then. Now, I'm not saying this to dismiss those of you that have had experienced great loss, even loss of loved ones. And so if that has happened, I send my love out to you, and I am urging you to receive support if you need, to work through the grieving process. And a lot of us have experienced other changes that involve the losses that are different. Maybe there's a loss of friends, careers, connections, that loss of feeling of your community. And maybe you've moved. I know so many people that have moved to different places, different even just houses, and maybe even different states and countries. These changes that have happened and are still happening are here to help you. And so this change is the only thing that's going to be constant. And if we have how we feel completely reliant on the external circumstances, then you're always going to be in this up and down roller coaster. So what I want you to do is really think about, with whatever's left in your time off, start to really go inward and ask yourself, what is it that you want to feel? If you want to feel more connection, then what can you do externally to match that, to create that for yourself. Okay, so it may not look like it did in the past. It may not look like it did 3 years ago or 4 years ago or 5 years ago. And it could be something different, and it may eventually be better. So really think about, so if it's joy and connection, let's say, is there a way that you can create a small community? Can you reach out to someone that has been on your mind? Can you call them? Can you, if they can't meet in person, can they meet virtually? How can you create that connection that you desire? And then when you meet with that person, can you be truthful with your connections? Can you be authentic? Because that's what's going to create true connection. Oftentimes our conversations or interactions are very superficial. I mean, the classic example is when someone asks, "How are you?" And the answer is generally fine, even if you're not fine. Right? So I'm not telling you to answer differently because that's almost like a greeting now, right? But if you're truly with someone that you want to connect with and that you care about, and they really ask you that, wanting the answer, then that's an opportunity to share and also receive from them, receive what's going on with them and create a supportive system. And so that's one way to create connection. Now, the connection may not be like it looked like in the past, and it may not be with the same people. And as those changes have happened and you're creating what you want to create, if you haven't processed the losses that you've had, if you haven't allowed yourself to sit with the emotion of sadness or whatever it is with the loss of the way things used to be, I'm going to ask you to do that too. Now, it may sound like I'm contradicting myself, but let me be clear. It's important to fill your mind, fill your thoughts with the way that you want to feel. And when something happens, and when you receive data from the outside, right, from the world, a trigger, it's also important for you to process and feel that. That feeling that you're feeling from the external is a signal that something's out of balance. So sit with that feeling and see what it's about. Acknowledge it. And maybe you need to cry. Maybe you need to watch a sad movie. Whatever you need to do. And then move forward if you can. And if you're still not ready, then give yourself a little bit more time to experience it. And then if it becomes too difficult, then reaching out for support. And I know, especially for a lot of my clients and a lot of women of color, it is not seen as great to receive outside help. Investing in help that involves anything to do with mental, emotional health has less of a value generally than reaching out for help for to fix your physical body. Okay. And both are important. You need your physical health. You can have complete physical health and not have mental, emotional health. And then that creates the same or similar amount of sadness. So really allowing yourself, if you need that support, to get the support. And if you've moved past that and you're ready to move forward, then receiving that type of support, right? So that therapy with a therapist would be great to help with the past and the trauma and all that. And then a coach would be a great person to go to for moving forward and creating the next steps. Okay. And so wherever you are, it's okay to seek support. And I've seen so much transformation in the people that do invest in support. And I myself have experienced so many shifts. The other day I took out a journal of mine that from a few years ago. I was cleaning things out as I often do. And I just decided told me to open it. So I opened randomly to a page in the journal and I was reading what I had written. And I was surprised that was me. It almost felt like it wasn't me writing that it was this different person. And so when I saw that, I realized how much things have changed, how much I have changed and shifted and grown over the years. And sometimes we can forget because we have, we're in our own lives, right? So we can't see the shifts and changes. So just a quick recap. I didn't want to do too long of an episode because I'm sure you have a lot going on. But I wanted this episode to be about bringing you back, because we can often get lost when we're in this holiday season. We can feel ungrounded. So I want to bring you back to the grounding of processing what you need to process and creating what you want to create, how you want to feel, and taking steps in that direction. And then I also discussed about the mental health and emotional health, and how for women of color that may seem not as important and often is not looked upon as positive to invest in those things. And then finally, about the idea that, we are shifting and changing, and there's so many changes that have happened, and moving forward is the only option. And so I'm going to urge you to move forward in the way that you know that you can. And if you would like support, I'm here. I would love to connect with you. I offer a 30-minute consultation clarity session so we can see where you're at and whether working together is a good fit. Everyone that has those calls with me, they always say they receive value even just from showing up to that call. And finally, if you have a business, I have a special offer this upcoming year. It is visioning your business for the year ahead. And visioning is so important. If you don't understand the value of visioning or haven't experienced the value of visioning, then you will love next week's episode where I go deeper into visioning and why it's important. And you will also hear more about the visioning offer that I have. And I can only have, since I work mainly one-on-one with people, I only have a few slots available. So if that's something that sounds interesting, go ahead and book a call and I'll give you the details. And if not, I'd love to connect with you. Until next time, take good care. Bye. Thank you for joining me for Aligned and Soulful Leadership. I was inspired to start this podcast as a way to empower women of color to rise up into their aligned leadership. Remember, I will have all the resources I mentioned during this episode available in the show notes at alignedandsoulfulpodcast.com. I'm your host, Kavita, and if you enjoyed this podcast, please tell your friends. And if you haven't received my free abundance meditation and exercise, then go to alignedandsoulfulleadership.com and subscribe to my newsletter, and you will receive this powerful visualization and exercise to ignite your abundant life. Thank you. Until next time, take good care. Bye.